Hi guys, it's France. Welcome back for week 82 of the Journal on Monday series, and I'm starting with some water and some echolene as I want to have this on my background for this spread. Today's big poll winner was the alcohol ink, so I will be playing with some alcohol inks today, and nothing fancy, just some fun. The first layer I'm applying on top of the echolene is some Bindex. For the alcohol ink I need non-porous surface, and as my paper is a porous surface I have to turn it into a non-porous surface. Now I could have worked with glossy paper. This would have solved the problem, but you'll see later on why I don't want to do that. This is just some double-sided tape, it's the do-it-yourself kind. And I'm gluing some aluminium foil on top of it to create a metallic based paper. So this is something you can do at home as well. You don't need any fancy, well, there is some fancy stuff on the market, but you don't need it if you don't have it. You can use whatever you have at home. And out of this foil I'll cut out a couple of butterflies using Tim Holtz movers and shapers die cuts. So I was saying I could have used glossy paper, but I want to play with transparency again, and I do like the texture I get when I apply several layers of Bindex or another translucent glue on top of each other. I could spare myself some trouble and go in with just one heavy gel medium, but I do like the effect of the layers on top of each other and how the texture gets enhanced with each layer. So now that I have cut out my butterflies, I'm going to emboss them using this Sizzix embossing folder. And yes, I know I have two butterflies that are not complete, but I will use those as well. And now I have some embossed metallic butterflies. Giving a quick blow with the heat gun on top of my Bindex so I can go in with the second layer. My layers are quite thin, but enough to cover all of the paper. Someone asked me the dimensions of the paper for this fin of our art journal. So I cut my papers to, and I have to think, it's 21.5 centimeter in height, and it's 16 large, 16 centimeters. So I'm applying my alcohol ink. This is just a regular Adirondack alcohol ink using a felt on top of a blending tool. And now that all my butterflies are colorized, I can clean up my craft sheet just using some blending solution. And now I have a clean workspace again. Then I'm applying some archival ink on the erased part of the butterflies. So I'm rubbing every butterfly on, well, I'm rubbing the archival ink on every butterfly, but I'm not heat setting it. When I'm done, I'm just wiping the ink back off again. And black archival ink has the capacity to pick up alcohol ink, so the erased parts are looking like metal again, instead of being colorized, though it has a light black shine to it. Now that my Bindex is dry, I can colorize my paper. And first I'm just applying some drops of alcohol ink and making them move around. Now alcohol ink dries very fast because it contains solvent. So I have to move quickly because I won't be able to play for a long time with my drops of alcohol ink. Now this is just to create a base for my color. As I said, I want to play with a translucent something, so I want the end result to still be translucent. So now that I have some color on it, I'm applying blending solution on a blending tool, and I'm blending the alcohol ink, but the ink will leave marks on the paper. Even if I blend it, I will have some lines and splatters that will remain visible, just like they are now, or at least partly visible. If I wanted to have more color, I would have applied the alcohol ink directly on my blending tool and tap them on the paper. But I want to keep it translucent, so that's why I'm playing with more blending solution than alcohol ink. Quickly drying this first one, and then I'm adding a bit more color here and there. So just doing the same thing over again. I'm blending it. That's how I want to keep it. I want to have those splatters and some light color. I'm applying archival ink on the edges of my butterflies to make them pop more from the background. But this time I'm heat setting it because I want this archival ink to stay on the butterflies. I could leave them to dry, which would take quite some time, but I don't want to wait for ink to dry. So this video is 11 minutes long, and it took me 45 minutes to get my spread done, as I do still have some packing to do and some projects to finish before I leave for CHA. I wanted to do a video, but I forced myself to keep it very short and quite simple actually. So the next poll will be on in 2 weeks, and the next video will be on in 3 weeks. I sure know I will miss you. So I took out some embellishments, and I'm placing some brads and some Tim Holtz pen nibs on the butterflies to add some interest to my spread. And to keep the pen nibs in place, I'm using some metal wire. Now with the bindex underneath, as you can see, my pen nib stays pretty good in place actually. Okay, and this is what I do for every pen nib. Adding some archival ink on the edges of my spread. And again, heat setting it to make sure it will stay in place. Now, this is the felt I used to apply the blending solution, and it will end up as an embellishment on my spread. I do have some felt laying on my table from alcohol ink that I have applied, and I keep those because they make fun embellishments as well. And this one is coordinated in color with my spread, as it's the one I used on my spread, so it's a fun accent to add. This is some mulberry, just gluing it down, and some plaster strip that I colorized with I think I colorized it with acrylic. I have to make sure this one is really dry so that I don't have any solvent left on it. and then simply gluing it in place. Adding some sewing. Now, as I have the Bindex, I had to apply a bit of baby powder because my sewing machine wasn't quite happy to go over the Bindex. It's quite sticky actually. And the wording is a text that I had in my fortune cookie at the Japanese restaurant last week, and it says, you will make progress in your work. Adding some acrylic ink splatters, and once it's glued down in my journal, I decide to add some stamping as well. I really loved the text that I had in my fortune cookie. I could not use it in my art journal. And that's about it actually. I hope you liked today's video. I'll see you when I get back from the States. Be happy. Ta-da!